Hi, everyone. I am so excited to bring you a very special episode featuring the incredible egg donor coordinators at Egg Donor and Surrogate Solutions. This amazing group of women has made it their mission to support and guide both intended parents and egg donors through the complex and rewarding process of egg donation. In this episode, the team will share their personal backgrounds and what led them to this field. We also cover the surprises that may arise for intended parents and donors, the depth of knowledge required to navigate this journey, and how they are with you every step of the way, providing invaluable support for all parties involved. For egg donors, this is a time commitment requiring flexibility and patience, but it is all worth it when you hear how much hope you are giving to those future parents you are helping. This episode is filled with insights and inspiration for anyone interested in the world of egg donation and reinforces how crucial it is to have that coordinator walking alongside you. Please enjoy hearing from this amazing team. Me, you, and who? Who knew it would take more than two people to have a baby? In a world where infertility is no longer a taboo topic, this podcast will take you through all of the different aspects of surrogacy and egg donation through the lens of many who walk this journey in different ways. My name is Whitney Hall, and I am a two-time surrogate, now turned surrogacy coordinator for Egg Donor and Surrogate Solutions, the very agency I used when I chose to carry for two amazing families. With this podcast, it is our goal to help guide and support you as you learn about what it takes to grow a family in an alternative way, as well as hear inspiring and beautiful stories of how this path has changed lives forever. We can't wait for you to hear about just one more way happy families are created every day. You guys, I'm so glad you're here. I really am. Oh my gosh. Okay, so for our listeners who aren't seeing the visual aspect, will you guys go around and say your name and how long you've been with the company? Yeah.
Angela Perez. I have been with the company for a little over 2 years.
I'm Shannon Peguero Taveras. I've been with the company for 2 years.
My name is Callie Wilson, and I have been with the company for about 10 years.
She's an oldie but a goodie.
Yes. Long time.
And you guys are amazing egg donor coordinators, which is so niche. How? Like, how did this even come to be? How did egg donation come into your world?
So I originally started with actually a fertility clinic, working as a nurse coordinator. I worked alongside with Egg Donor Surrogate Solutions for years, coordinating cases in the clinic.
Yeah, you did.
With their egg donors and surrogates. And an opportunity came available to work with an amazing team, and I just could not pass that up. So that's kind of how I jumped over to this side of things.
How has it been different being on this side of the fence versus kind of like the medical side of it, where the seat that you were sitting in at the clinic?
I definitely feel, sometimes the relationships are a little bit different. I feel like on this side, I'm working a lot closer with the egg donors than maybe I did in the clinic. In the clinic, it was just kind of the medical piece.
Sure.
Working with the agency, I mean, we're with them for quite a bit longer and helping with all of their screening and, multiple things. So I feel like the time that I have with them is longer than what I had in the clinic with them.
Sure. Yeah. What about you, Shannon?
So I originally started out as a surrogate, and about halfway through my pregnancy, I got an email from Katie asking if I would be interested in applying for a position. And at that time, I was not looking for a job, but I was like, "Ugh, you're going to miss 100% of the shots you don't take." So I went ahead, I applied, went through the interview process, and that's how I ended up on the egg donor coordination team.
And you were such a good surrogate, speaking as your coordinator. No, that's awesome. Okay, my Cali girl.
I worked for another agency prior to this for a little bit, and I knew Katie there. And when she started Egg Donor and Surrogate Solutions, I mean, she was very persistent over time. And honestly, I just enjoyed it most of the time. I didn't, go, get a job here to think I would be here long term at all.
Mhm.
Um, but I was able to grow and continue to do things that I love and support our teams, and
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm here.
What's been your favorite part, just all of you in the seat that you're sitting in as a coordinator? What's been kind of that memory or maybe just like that moment where you're like, "Oh, that's gonna be with me the like forever."
I think for me, just, I mean, we've had some amazing donors and, getting to work with them. We actually, there's been some egg donors that I worked with in the clinic setting.
Oh, how
And those same girls I'm
cool.
getting to work with here at the agency. And so that's been kind of, cool getting to work with them on both sides of the fence, so to speak.
Yeah.
So that's been cool. And then just the amazing team that we have. I mean, everybody here at Egg Donor Surrogate Solutions is really pours their heart and soul into what
Mhm.
we do and helping families. And so that's really rewarding to work with such a great team that all has the same drive and loves what we do.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah, absolutely. What about you, mama?
So for me, only being here for 2 years, you only get to experience so much.
Mhm.
But having an intended parent reach out to you months after their cycle with baby photos and the
Mm.
appreciation that they still have is one of those moments that like really just stick and hold within me.
Yeah. I think that's one of those things that's so different with in the seat that I sit in and, you previously being a surrogate, like, you get that finish line of, like, you get to see that baby, you get to see,
Yes.
that sweet little family that you created, and I feel like the as egg donor coordinators, you guys get to see, like, the hope of that happening, and so it's gotta be cool to see that finish line.
Yes, very much.
Oh, I love that.
I think my favorite thing overall is the egg donors. Since I did and do run cases for so long, I've gotten to take some donors from like their first donation all the way through their sixth. And so
Mm,
you get to work with someone who maybe starts at 22 or 23, and by the time you're done, they're 28, 29.
sure.
And in a way, like, I've gotten to grow up with them and see their families grow and their
Mm.
life grow and stay in touch and text you for different things about whatever the randomness at times. But I think that's been, and this intended parent education, like being able to provide that clarity. Unfortunately, like just one day they're in the clinic and someone's like, your best chance is to use an egg donor, this concept that they've never heard of, that
Sure.
they have no knowledge, and to be able to, I don't know, help people feel some peace at a time that's just not that peaceful
Yeah.
is an awesome place to sit
Yeah.
sometimes.
Well, and then going from, okay, you've just been dropped this bomb,
Mhm.
and now we have a whole new set of just concepts and things to think about. And our matching team does an amazing job. And we have this amazing, just a database and everything. And then, okay, we've just been matched. We now have our coordinator. And whoa, dang, there's a lot of logistics. Oh my gosh. So, what do you guys feel like? I mean, why is a coordinator so important? What is that support that people can expect?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, you know, I feel like one of the biggest things that we bring to the table is just somebody being there for them,
Mhm.
explaining things to them, and instead of just assuming that they know, helping kind of be like a liaison between intended parent, egg donor, fertility clinic, just making sure that things are flowing like they should.
Sure.
The intended parents are being updated like they should, so that
Yeah.
they already feel so removed from the process because it's not their body going through it, right? So,
Mhm.
we want to keep them in the loop and update them every step of the way so they feel as much a part of the process as they possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge. That's absolutely huge.
I I always say that overall, we just fill in the gap. We fill in the gap anywhere that is needed, whether it's logistical. A donor's on a flight and their next flight gets canceled, and she's
Oh,
supposed to be at the
sure.
cancel the next morning. Like, how do we get her from point A to point B? There's a really simple ones to scheduling concerns to wires were crossed and we're trying to find compromise and mediation somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Our job as an agency is to get people through the finish line and that they feel supported and loved getting there. And that's why our job description is always there's a lot of and then whatever needs to be filled,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Whatever that looks like for that client or egg donor.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, travel. I swear, y'all. Well, who was it?
So
It
what?
was like there was a
Yes.
snowstorm and then
Uh huh.
you gotta make sure you have your meds, and I mean, I can't imagine being an egg donor and trying to figure all that out on my own, or being an intended parent and trying to be a part of those
Yeah.
logistics. What would you say, a lot of times also, I think people look at, okay, I'm in a position as an intended parent where I need an egg donor, or, I've chosen to become a donor. And we think a lot about that medical process, but there's a whole like legal component prior to that. What would you say is, maybe something like considerations that intended parents and donors should think about when it comes to kind of that part?
So legal overall, um, gosh, once you learn the surrogacy programs legal, the egg donor one does run just a little bit smoother. So I'm thankful of that. Um, major things right now are honestly around, what the identified situation is, whether they're known or unidentified, and
So for those who don't know, and I don't mean to cut you off, what
yeah,
is the difference of, and you being in the industry for as long as you've been in, how have you seen that kind of change? Like, what are you talking about when you say that?
yeah, it's definitely changed. When we started 10 years ago, this idea of a known donor was very different.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people are like, no, 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 we can't know each other. We can't do those things. And over time, we've been with groups of people who definitely are working towards more transparency, particularly with the donor conceived child.
Sure.
And so during the legal process, you do obviously you talk a lot about it in the matching process, like what you're
Mhm.
looking for as a donor and an intended parent. But moving into legal, thinking about what you want that to look like.
Mhm.
What access do you want to have to that donor one day, and what don't access does the donor want to have to the intended parent or donor conceived child? So definitely knowing what you're looking for,
Mhm.
whether it be contact information, whether it be signing up for a third party agency that allows communication or just anything. That's probably the hot topic right now in legal
Yeah.
and egg donation. Um, Overall, you definitely want to know what you want.
And that on a lot of that happens prior to,
Yes.
but then
Yeah.
as a coordinator, how are you kind of supporting during that process?
I think, the biggest thing is just kind of listening to both parties and kind of
Sure.
helping them come to like a mutual agreement on, you know, what are you looking for? What are you looking for, for both parties, and just kind of listening to what they want and kind of coming up with maybe like a happy medium if they're kind of two different extremes, but trying to find a happy meet in the middle, so to
Yeah.
speak. Um, because you want to make sure that everybody feels supported, it feels heard more than
Yeah.
anything. And you want to make sure it's handled now instead of, down the road.
And how great that you get to be that support during that process, and not you're not just a number. I want to hear, I want to talk about it. I'm
Yeah,
here to support you through that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think to piggyback off of that, it's really important for our intended parents to know that there's no right or wrong time to sign up for the donor sibling
Mm.
registry if they choose to do so. And it's something that we can support them through, we can educate them on, we can provide resources and materials. And then we can always be there later on down the road should that be something that they want to explore.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What would you say is maybe something that might surprise intended parents or egg donors as they're going through this process?
Um, I think for egg donors, and I've had, some tell me, I originally signed up. I knew a friend that was doing this. They
Sure.
told me about it. For some people, there is obviously a financial component to it. But the amount of girls that tell me, like, I just didn't feel like it would fill my cup as much as it has. Like, it's been truly
Mm.
rewarding. And when they have completed a cycle and they want to continue to do, a second or a third cycle, because it just fulfilled them more than they originally thought.
Yeah.
That's an awesome thing. That's an awesome thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think one of the other just aspects that can be surprising for people is just the amount of knowledge they have to consume during
Mm.
the time. I mean, from the screening of what's being studied, and obviously we haven't talked about genetic testing, but that's, a can of worms to open up. And then there's obviously the legal process and the medications and the retrieval procedure and what's happening with the intended mother versus what's happening with the egg donor. And I just think it's easy for us now because we've been in the industry for so long. But
Mm.
when you think about the amount of knowledge that an egg donor or an intended mother or an intended father is absorbing in this, 3-month period, it is a
Sure.
huge amount to digest and understand and know. I mean, we learn stuff
Yes.
every day and we've been doing it for 10 years. And I just think people don't, they take that so likely, just so little how much people have to really engage to do it, to do this
Yeah.
process.
Well, and I feel like, and again, if you're that egg donor and you're sitting in that appointment and they're talking to you, but you don't necessarily know what they're saying, or you're trying to take it all in, but you're not going to
The
get it. Or,
acronyms.
oh my gosh, we live in such a world of acronyms. Holy moly. But yeah, I mean, just that, or the intended parent is they've just had this big thing. Now there's more. We're trying to consume all of that knowledge, and they don't necessarily always feel like they can ask those questions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've had people before, well, I didn't want to ask when I was in the clinic because I was kind of nervous or I didn't think about it. And so, they'll call me up and what does this mean? Or what do you think they meant by that? And being
Yeah.
able to answer that question for them and, you know, put their mind at ease and make them feel like, oh, okay, I feel more comfortable. I understand what's moving forward.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Oh gosh, yeah, absolutely. What would be that one thing that you would maybe want to say to any potential parent, intended parent, or potential egg donor as they are discerning just if this is processes their next steps?
I think at the end of every cycle, we have been getting all this feedback from donors for
Mm.
at least I think it took us about 2 years to decide, about 8 years maybe. And the number one thing we have heard from donors who we ask them, like, what advice would you give your first time donor self?
Yeah.
Or what would you tell someone just starting this process? And they all mainly say, like, it is a time commitment.
Mm,
This
mhm.
is not something to take lightly time wise.
Yeah.
The injections and those 2.5 weeks while they're on the medications is a lot.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes agencies have the tendency to be like, it's so easy, like just come, be an egg donor. They talk, and
Mhm.
there's so many good benefits, but time is certainly something that it's what I tell donors because that's what all the donors feedback has been that don't underestimate the time commitments and what it takes to really commit and do this well for a family who is truly counting on you to do this well and to
Sure.
commit to it.
Sure. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I mean, you outlined it perfectly. Like you said there's that medical testing there. I mean, there's so
Mhm.
many points. It's not just we matched
You don't just show up
and
one day and donate your eggs. It
yeah,
doesn't work like that.
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I think it was Holly who was like she described it as sometimes people think that, oh, it's just like giving blood.
Yeah,
And like,
a little bit
no,
different.
no, a
Yeah.
little bit. I'd say a little bit different.
Definitely. And I think for, intended parents, one thing I've always tried to tell my intended parents is, you know, this process will teach you patience for
Oh, yes,
sure.
ma'am.
Um, and, there is no comparison. Don't compare your
Mm,
journey to someone else's. Don't
yeah.
expect something to go a certain way because you knew somebody that, had a different journey. Your journey is your journey.
Mhm.
And you need to, feel all the feels, you know, and it's just, there's no right or wrong. You feel how you feel,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
And we are here to support you and, make it as stress free as possible for you.
Sure. Sure.
But it's your journey. Don't
Yeah.
compare it to someone else's.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, it's just like what Shannon said. Like it's right for you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think to go off of what Callie said, donors will be inconvenienced. And we always say, like, you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to, maybe call off of work last minute or attend an
Mm-hmm.
appointment. And so it's not just always easy. And as much as we love to give you as much of a heads up notice, sometimes you're going to be put in those positions that you can't have all of the heads up notice.
Sure.
But majority of my donors, they come back, or all of my donors that come back, they turn around and say it was so worth it. That time off of work, worth it. All of those medications, worth it.
Yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
they know that they did something so amazing at the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you might miss that flight and have to go to a
Absolutely.
convenience store to get ice. Like, I mean,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
something's going to happen.
But it's worth it.
But it's worth it. But it's so worth it. Oh my gosh. So, what would you guys say? I have last two questions. What's your why for doing what you do?
That's such a big question.
Yeah, it is, girl. Yeah, it is, girl.
I think my why is families, and that
Mm,
families are greater than blood. I don't know how a better way to say it. Like families are greater than just the genetic piece of all of this,
yeah.
and that families get to grow in the way that works for them, and that we get to see these, we call them tiny humans all the time around here. I don't know why we don't use
Yeah.
the word baby, but we say tiny humans all the time, and that we're giving these kids a really unique story. And
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's getting to see people build their families in the way that they can.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably my why overall, and the people we work with,
Oh gosh, yeah.
because our team is pretty awesome.
I think
Yeah, definitely the team. Definitely, the opportunity to help, people create and or build their families
so.
where
Mm-hmm.
it may not have, been possible otherwise. Like that is so rewarding.
Yeah.
And just to be a small part of that journey, it's why I get up every day. Like I just want to help people any way I can.
Yeah.
We are giving these intended parents so much hope.
Mm.
Hearing news that maybe they weren't expecting and having to reroute all of their original plans.
Sure.
We are paving a path for them that gives them that hope
Yeah.
of having a baby and growing their family and completing their family.
Girl, I kind of said that by myself. Oh. Okay. Last question. You all know what it is.
Yeah.
What filled your cup? Literally or figuratively. What filled your cup?
Well, literally,
Yeah, girl.
my Diet Coke. No, I mean, honestly, like what we do and the people that we help, I mean, you could not ask for truly a better job. I could not ask for a better,
Yeah.
company to work for. I couldn't ask for a better group of women, you know, to have this journey with. Like, it's just the most amazing thing.
Yeah.
It
Well, and
truly
that part is so important, I feel like, because even on those hard days, and they are,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
we have that support, giving us the ability to continue to give all of our clients that support.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You have a stressful day, you have an emotional day. There's not a person on our team that I can't reach out to that hasn't experienced, the same thing. And we know how that feels. Like we want this
Yeah.
so bad for these families. And we really genuinely are invested in this. We want this for them.
Yeah.
This is what we do every day. And so it can be emotional sometimes, but knowing that I can pick up the phone and, call any team member, like they felt it, they know it, they know what I'm going through. I can
Yeah.
have that, moment. But I mean, what we do is just so incredible.
Yeah. Well, and I think that speaks to we are here. We are rooting you on. We are cheering you on. We are with you every step of that process because you are
Absolutely.
not just a number. Like
No,
we care.
no.
We know
You
your
become part of
story.
our family, our
100%.
extended family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
For me, as some people might know, we just came off a big team retreat,
Yes.
in Spice Girls. Shannon and I were a part of that team. We won the team challenge.
Show off.
First place.
First place.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to spin the prize wheel. So I'm pretty happy about it.
That's nice
Pretty
for you.
happy about it.
That's real nice for you.
Number
I love
one.
it. Yeah.
Number one.
Okay, moving on. That can't be your answer. Just by the way, Shannon. No.
You know, for me, what fills my cup is I get to not only help families and donors every single day,
Mm-hmm.
but then I get to go home and be with my family. And it's so nice. And to have support wherever I go, the support at home, you know, my husband, he's so supportive in this whole process, what it is that I do and where I work.
Mm-hmm.
And so to have that support both at work and at home, it makes for such a cohesive, journey that
Yeah.
I'm on.
Yeah. Well, and how neat that Isaiah got to support you as a surrogate spouse.
Yeah.
And now get to support you as you help families in this way.
Yeah.
That's so neat. I love that.
Yes. And Maya is learning it all.
Oh my gosh. And Maya, for those who don't know, was on the kids podcast. And oh, you guys y'all go listen to Maya. She knows what's up. She knows what's up. Yeah, go listen to Maya. You guys, I love you, and I am so grateful for everything that you do. And I think you guys are rock stars. And I just so appreciate you, and I know our clients love and are so supported by you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Me, You, and Who. We appreciate your time and hope you enjoyed our discussion today. As we wrap, we would like to remind you of some of the ways that you can stay connected with us and be part of the Me, You, and Who podcast community. Firstly, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode and can stay up to date with our latest content. But that's not all. We also have an exciting YouTube channel where we share some bonus content, behind the scenes glimpses, and video versions of our episodes. Head over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button there as well. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when the new episodes go live. And for more exclusive updates, engaging discussions, and a chance to connect with fellow listeners. Be sure to follow us on our social media accounts. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Create a Happy Family. If you're interested in finding out more about creating a happy family, please visit us at www.createahappyfamily.com. Thank you again for being part of the Me, You, and Who community. Your support means the world to us. I can't wait for you to join us next time as we continue to share stories and journeys of creating happy families.